It is Wednesday, July 7th. The summer is here in the nation's capital. And Team Riggins, they are back from Alaska. And then Coco Riggins, it's the summer tour of Coco, who is now up in Montauk. But we want to catch up and learn all about the great adventures in Alaska. Here's Riggo.
Well, thank you, Todd. And I don't think I have to go very far. We've got to introduce the true star of the show, my daughter Coco, coming to us from Montauk, New York. The far, I guess they call it the East End.
Yep, the end.
Yeah, I don't know where to begin, seeing how... Now, Coco and I have had a little beef going on, another one, based on my lack of, in her perception, sensitivity, because she's been gone over a week now, almost 8 or 9 days in Montauk, working for the summer up there for Henry Uline at Uline's Marina. And so I wasn't, I guess, texting, calling, whatever, enough. So,
yeah. Oh,
yeah, okay.
No,
go ahead.
You're leaving out some details because we have a group chat with me, my dad, and my sister, and my sister's in Cabo right now. She's in Mexico. He's been only focusing on my sister. I text in that group chat. He doesn't even. It's like I'm not even in the group chat. And then I just he hasn't been calling me. He hasn't been doing anything with me. It's like I'm chopped liver over here.
True. Instead I send it to you privately instead of through the group chat, but I also talk about the cats and other things for your benefit. Now, but let's take and dig a little deeper here, dude. So we fly up on the G4, a friend of ours who sprung for it, and there were 6 of us that was on the flight up, if I'm not mistaken. 5, actually. 5, 2, 4, 3, and
I think it was 5 of us.
And Uncle Jerry, I did not know till this past Saturday that he was.
Yes.
Uncle Jerry joined.
So Coco flies up on the G4. We fly back on the G4. We get in here on Thursday night late. Actually, it's early Friday morning. Coco spends that night, and then she packs on Friday, and then puts her stuff together and flies off to Montauk on Saturday.
Yeah.
She's not home more than 36 hours. And guess who she left for dead? The big guy. So dude's a little sensitive about me. Now, here I am sweating out down here in Cabin John. Dude's up there doing...
Yeah, but you knew this ahead of time. This wasn't any new news to you. I don't know.
Yeah, but your absence is crushing. I can't. I was with you for a whole week, and then you just drop me and take off. And
that's the point. That's the point of texting and calling. Okay, Daddy, we're going to get into a fight right now, so we better move on.
See, she's learned. That's a mature Coco. And
that
Coco,
is a mature. That's what I'm telling you. She sounds like she's 25 years old.
Yeah, I don't even know the little girl that once was.
I told her, she's more sophisticated before she went to Alaska.
Yeah, and let me tell you something, Coco. After Hannah found out, A, that she wasn't going to Alaska, B, you were going with your dad, and C, on a G4. So I think you better just tap the brakes and keep it moving.
That's probably the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Now, let me preface this, and we'll start, and Coco, obviously we want to get your input. But on the trip up on the G4, now, Uncle Jerry was with us, and, our benefactor and his brother. They will remain anonymous for now. I hadn't checked with them to see if I could use their names on the broadcast, but certainly a couple of very generous and entertaining men, along with one of the fellas' son flew with us. And what was pretty interesting is on our trip up, we got there a couple days early because the benefactor wanted to show his son around Anchorage, a little bit, and around Alaska there before we went down, because actually the fishing didn't begin till Sunday.
Yeah.
So we get there, we land, and, on the way up, we'd be talking all this stuff, and one of the folks would say, now, Coco, you better cover your ears, because, here we had a bunch of, men, basically, and I think the youngest was maybe 18, something like that, maybe 19, next to Coco, who's a rising junior in high school. Mm-hmm. So, several times he'd say, Coco, cover your ears. So we get to Alaska, Coco and I get up to the room, and Coco, she pulls me over and says, hey, listen, it makes me kind of uncomfortable that they tell, that they have to say, Coco, cover your ears. Tell them not to do that. So I made my announcement. What's that, Coco?
Well, I was just going to say, no, yeah, it just makes me annoyed because it's obviously I've heard those words before. It's not like I've never.
Oh no, no.
No, not from you, but like from past parties, whatever. Like, so it just gets so old. Like, Coco, cover your ears, or sorry, Coco, because then and then it puts all the attention on me, because it's like,
exactly.
Oh, Coco can't hear this. I don't know.
Or like, she's a little girl and we got to treat her like we got to really,
You're cramping our style, Coco.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on, guys. I'm one of the boys here. I'm one of the men.
Yeah.
They're
like,
showing respect.
Think of, what is it? Wuhan? No, what? Not Wuhan. That's Wuhan, not Wuhan. Who's the gal that joins the Chinese army? Or
Mulan?
Mulan. It's Mulan.
Yeah.
The dude's like one of the guys.
Oh, yeah. I'm Mulan. I basically am Mulan.
But we did know she was a woman, right? We did know that. Mulan, I don't know. So anyway, everything was noted. I made the announcement. So we fly down to Alaska. This is on Thursday night or Friday morning. We fly down. I say to Alaska. We fly down to Iggy Oggy, where Slim's Lodge is. And that night at dinner, we've already fished. We got in on a Sunday. We went fishing that afternoon. We come in, and so right before dinner, we all sit down to dinner. And I said, I got an announcement to make. I said, listen. Coco wants everybody to know to be yourself. Whatever, just say what you got to say and say it how you want to say it. And do not say, Coco, cover your ears. Okay? Coco would like that to be very plain, that she wants everybody to feel comfortable and relaxed and not to like that she's this little girl, this little pristine little girl that can't hear some of the language that maybe you guys possess. And so everybody nodded and everything was fine. And with that, without further ado, Slim basically starts off with, okay, so you assholes are going to be out fishing tomorrow, and let me tell you, I don't want to out there and getting things snagged up, you sons of bitches. You got that straight?
Yeah.
I mean, he did it on cue, and I trust me when I say Slim wasn't trying to, it wasn't.
No easing into this.
No, well, it was just, I think Slim was going to be himself regardless had I made the announcement or not. Because that's who Slim is.
Well, no. Well, before you made the announcement, he did say like a curse word or something. He apologized. He was like, sorry, Coco. But as soon as after you made the announcement, he was like, all right, so you...
Yeah.
he just snapped right into it.
Let her fly.
Yeah, he let it rip.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got a little picture here.
Yeah.
And this is...
Yeah.
So this is the famous Kwijak Lodge.
That's it.
In...
Mm-hmm.
How do you pronounce that?
Kwijak.
Iggy Oggy.
I assume.
No, Iggy.
Iggy Oggy. Iggy Oggy.
Iggy Oggy.
Yep. Iggy Oggy, Alaska.
You can see how happy I am in that photo.
Old timers.
So was this when you first got there?
No, this is actually when we're leaving. We didn't do this till we left.
Yeah.
It's the last thing you do at Slim's, because that's about all you got the strength to do. Now, I have to say, unequivocally, this is by far the best trip I've ever had to Alaska. And I have to believe that it wasn't, a lot of it was due that Coco was with me.
Wow.
I tell you what, I've been at Slim, I think we counted it up. This was what?
9 times.
How many?
Yeah. 9 times.
It was the 9th time, just to Slim's. This doesn't count all the times I've went over to King Salmon, in the past. So I'm guessing I have been to Alaska probably close to 20 times in the last 40 years or so. But this is the only time I remember I'd wake up in the morning and I'd feel like doing stuff instead of going to the bar and getting a Bloody Mary. So, Coco, thank you for that, for saving your dad. Now,
You're welcome.
aside from that, it was a great trip because we had a great time with all of our friends. And I think the best thing was, what would you say, Coco, was the fishing was great. There was no question about that. But I think it was really the time spent at the lodge with Slim and the boys. What'd you say, dude?
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I was going to say, I was only going to make a comment about this at one point, but, I mean, everything was just so perfect at Slim's Lodge. You have just these fabulous meals. You have this fabulous view, the Alaska air, everything, the fishing. But it really is, when it gets down to it, just the people there that make everything, too, as well. They just add so much. I had so much fun with all my dad's buddies. I feel like I prefer to hang out with them rather than my own friends sometimes.
Keep an eye on this one. Keep an eye on this one.
And the other thing about it, Coco, is that I didn't know this, and I still was a little, because there's all kinds of beavers in Alaska. But you can drink the water out of the Kvichak River, straight out of the river. And dude's here to tell the tale that, yes, you can. She did it.
Yes, I did it. My dad didn't do it.
Drink this water, and he took a big mouthful, and then so Coco followed suit, and I went,
How'd it taste?
Oh, it's great.
It tasted.
No, for sure.
It tasted amazing. I mean, it's super fresh, like pure water. Just,
How would you expect
cold.
Alaska water to taste?
Well, I'd say we put, let's bottle this bad boy, a little Kvichak. Some pure Kvichak up in here.
You'll have to clear that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't.
Across the river. I don't think you're bottling anything till you get a permit from them.
We're willing to work out a little deal.
I was gonna say, like, I can't come home without saying, like, there was either a moment where I was gonna drink the water or not drink the water, and I want to come home saying I drank water from the Kvichak River.
Yeah, dude,
I want that.
Another side to her that I didn't know existed, and truly, because we caught some weather that wasn't exactly ideal. It was cool sometimes in the morning, 40 degrees.
Wow.
When I say 40, 45, and you're up there sitting in a boat all day, and then you get a breeze on top of it. Now, we didn't have any rain, but towards the end of the run, we got some wind that would just almost blow you off the water. It was just fierce. And, and it was chilly as well. And I remember telling Coco, I'm thinking, I mean, the fishing's the fishing, but it's really kind of hard fishing out here. I said, if you want to go in, whenever you want to go, I'm ready to go. But Coco, I'll let you take it from here, Coco, how you felt about that.
Well, yeah, so we were just fishing, and my dad says something like to that effect, where it's like, hey, dude, if you want to go in, you just say, if you're cold, we can always go in. And I'm like, are you trying to hint something to me? Are you trying to say you want to go in? He's like, oh, no, like, I'm okay. I will stick it out. I'm not. He was like, I'm not going to go in. And I was like, okay, well, then I'm fine, too. And then we wait a little longer. Although I think you did make a joke where you were like, well, obviously I'm not going to say I want to go in. I have to use you as an excuse to make you, like, you say you go in so I can go in.
Right.
Kind of like
hey,
that.
It's not me.
But then,
I'm just thinking about you.
Exactly. And so then, like, 20 minutes later, he's like, hey, dude, don't you think, like, a cup of hot chocolate sounds real good right now?
A little roaring.
And I'm like, are you trying? Like, it's obvious you want to go in. Like, I'll wave the white flag. Let's just go in. Like,
no, I think Coco said, I'm not going to raise the white flag. If you want to raise the white flag, go ahead. And I'm thinking to myself, well, the wind is really a problem here. I just hate wind. And so for me, it was
hates
like, as long
wind.
as you weren't
That's my dad's natural enemy is wind. You want to...
Yeah.
You don't get a lot of non-windy days up there in these
barbed wire and wind. I can't take it.
Barbed wire and wind.
I don't know. I mean, I grew up with wind and barbed wire. I can't deal with either one of them.
So, Coco, what was you spent the first day or two in Anchorage?
Yeah.
What were your impressions of Anchorage, Alaska?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it was so beautiful. It's like, we went out with a couple of my dad's good friends too that he's known from Alaska for a while.
Kelly was the daughter of the late doctor whose lodge I used to go to in King Salmon, and through Doc I met Slim, and so Kelly, was his oldest daughter, and then I think Jen is his middle daughter. I can't remember. I don't know where she is in the pecking order. No, actually, she's the third daughter, I think. Somewhere along there. Mm-hmm. But anyway, Jen and Kelly basically showed us around Anchorage. And also, we went all the way down to the Kenai River. But go ahead, Coco. You tell what we did.
Well, yeah. So we just spent a lot of time with them. They're super generous people. Like, my dad can agree with me 100%. They're super generous. And they just took us, like, they gave us all these clothes that they have because they have a lodge there, swag. And they took us down. We went down to, like, this little spot that they had along, it was a river. I don't know if that's the river you're talking about, but, we played cornhole with them. It was just so wholesome and so nice. And yeah, Anchorage was so beautiful. We got to see, Cook Inlet and, like, the mountains.
About the earthquake that happened there in the no,
we didn't hear any of the earthquake, but we did go down to the wildlife park the first time.
Oh yeah, that was super fun too. I love animals so much, and I love going to like wildlife refuges or marine, anything. I just love animals so much, and so that was so fun. I got to see my first bear. And it was big. It was a big boy.
Those pictures that you sent me were impressive. Those were not small bears.
No, I thought that one bear, probably the big one, I think his name was BJ, and I can't remember what it stood for, but I guessed him to weigh maybe 600 pounds. Yeah. Truth be told, big boy was close to 1,000 pounds. That was 1,000.
Was that the brown bear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That definitely, that would be a grizzly wouldn't get that big.
Yeah. So I saw the black bear and the brown bear, and neither was small, but I think the brown bear was quite a bit larger.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Way larger.
But so basically, but basically what I was just going to say is that, Anchorage was, the whole thing in general, like Anchorage and Igiyagi, they're both, I told my friends this too. I was like, because they asked me, they're like, how was Alaska? And I was like, oh, it's not your classic, beach, sun and like tanning, like all that. It's not the beautiful kind of beach, whatever, like that summer thing you think, but it has its beauty in its own way. Like there's something about it. It's so much, because it's like so, I don't know. I could see myself living there. Like I loved it so much. It has such a, beautiful side to it. It's so natural, like these forests, all the animals, like the people there, everything. I love it so much. I could go on and on.
Wow.
And of course, weed.
Matanuska Valley, baby.
Just teasing about that. But yeah, no, everything Coco said is true. And some of the animals, the one animal I think, Coco, we couldn't see was the wolverine, wasn't it? There was no wolverine. Was that the very last animal?
Yeah, it didn't have it there. Oh no, we couldn't see the lynx.
Oh, the lynx. That's what they didn't have. Wolverine. I think Wolverine's too nasty to keep in captivity unless you put him in contact. They would dig their way out of there.
Jeez.
Slim?
Everybody who talked to the grizzlies and brown bears don't mess with wolverines because they figure which is true in human circles. A bear figures a wolverine's crazy. They're going, that little punk is getting ready to take me, he's going to hurt me. I'll kill him, but I'm going to go away limping. I'm too smart for that. I'm leaving.
This aggravation.
Yeah.
I can totally see that because at Slim's Lodge, he had a stuffed Wolverine, and that thing looked nasty. I wouldn't want to be, even if I was like so much bigger, I don't want to fight that thing.
And to this point, Slim had a bear get into his lodge years and years ago. And he swears that it tore all kinds of stuff up. And he swears to this day it came out of the pantry and it came around to the front and it saw that Wolverine in there. And he said he thinks that because every place else that bear had been, it completely demolished everything. His lodge was damaged, but like he said, not nearly what I thought it was going to be. And he thinks it saw that Wolverine and said, okay, I'm good.
That would make sense.
I don't want to mess with him.
How did you do with the daylight hours, and what time did it get dark, and how'd you do with that?
Yeah, well, I'd say, Coco, it got dark around 11 o'clock.
Yeah, but like when we say dark, we don't even mean like nightfall. It's still
dusky.
Like it's light out. Yeah.
How weird is that?
Yeah.
It really was weird.
Probably about the equivalent of 7:30, and it stays like that till the sun comes back up. I think, doesn't it, Coco? I wasn't up at 1 a.m. Well, maybe I was to go take a pee. I can't remember, but I don't. But it didn't seem like it. It didn't bother. I had my mask on though, so I was ahead of the game.
Yeah, I didn't have a mask, so it was a little strange at first, but I kind of adjusted to it. It literally felt like I was just taking a midday nap or something, but
we were sleeping to get our sleep in.
Now, can you imagine in the winter when it's the opposite and you don't want to get out of bed because there's no sun and it's cold and windy
and you got to go out? Yeah, I can't imagine that.
Yeah,
that would be the downside. That's the one thing. Coco, we'd have to go back, and of course, we went to Alyeska, the ski lodge.
Mount Alyeska, yeah.
And we went up all the way on top of the mountain, and that was pretty. it's funny when you get and I told this to Coco, how when you go up to a place like that and you look out over Cook Inlet and all the mountains on the other side of the inlet and all that, it kind of gives you a moment of just how insignificant you are.
We are a little bitty nothing.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
most of the time. Wouldn't you say so, Coco?
Oh yeah, I completely agreed with him when he said that, because these mountains, they go on forever. They're so big, and we're just like this tiny little, a speck.
Okay.
It's like what is it? It's like
Kansas, dust in the wind.
No, Horton Hears a Who. It's like Horton Hears a Who by Dr. Seuss. Horton Hears a Who by Dr. Seuss. You know how it's like the little world? What if we're just like a little world in a flower or something? That's how tiny we are. I don't know. I mean, that's a deep conversation.
Little pebbles on the beach, just a little grain of sand.
Yeah.
Is dust in the wind.
There you go. Todd's got it. He was DJing.
All right. So when did you finally? How excited were you to go fishing, and set the scene for that? Because fishing season was just starting.
Yeah. It had started, I think, June 8th, I think is when the season opener was. And some of the lodges up there were open. Slim kind of feels like it's kind of dicey at that time. It's just the weather. You don't know what's going to, because I've been there on opening day at Slim's. And once again, the wind blew. I think that one was even worse than what we experienced the last day or so that we were there. But yeah, and the fish, sometimes you don't know what they're doing. You know, they're coming out of the lake and they're going into the river, I think, to spawn. And basically, they're in the river, and they're there waiting for the salmon and the migration, which basically they go out to the river, and they just make a U-turn, and those salmon come in and follow them to wherever they're going.
What are you fishing for?
Rainbow trout was what we were fishing for. And the weirdest thing is, Coco caught one that was colored up, which looks like it was actually, I think, didn't he say, Coco, that fish was a spawner? Because it is.
Yeah, like...
These fish that we normally would catch, they look like a newly minted, silver dollar. I mean, They are just stunningly.
Is that the one that we have on video?
Yes, that would be one of them. The other one, though, is like more when you think of a rainbow trout that's got the big slash of pink on the side of it. It's kind of dark, kind of a dark tawny color on its shoulders. That's a typical, down here, I would think more like what a rainbow trout would be. But when you first see these fish come out of the water, and they're the ones that have just left the lake to come into the river, they are just as silver as they can be. I mean, they, would reflect light. You'd have to say, hey, turn that light off.
All right, well, without further ado, the legendary Warner Wolf, let's go to the videotape.
Let's do that.
Once again, if you take some runs, you hear that.
This is Coco down the river. Coco, I coached her a little bit, but she already kind of knew what she was doing. Coco, after looking at the film here, I can see there's only one correction I would make, and that is where you're gripping the rod is a little far back. You're behind the reel.
Oh, yeah.
A really big.
All right, dude.
Easy,
it
easy.
Because you're putting all that stress on your forearm and your wrist. If you would have that rod ahead of the reel and then put the butt of the rod against your chest or your stomach, it would have been a little easier for you to bring it in. But as you can see, Coco does what I think most people don't do. A lot of people grab the rod, and all they do is start cranking the rod. They just start the reel. They just start going around and around with the reel.
Oh, yeah.
But if you Coco lifts the fish, the rod, you see the boat, and then goes down.
I might fuck mask on.
So I thought your form was very good, Coco.
Wow.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely, I knew you definitely gave me a lot of tips, and I'll definitely keep working on it. One thing that was like hard to, I always asked him like questions about this, and I feel like I was getting on his nerves, but there's a lot to do with like tipping the rod down too when the fish jumps out, and like when it's close to the boat. Like there's so much stuff you need to keep in mind. But yeah, it was, well, I'm working on it.
Well, those trout, and I had one that must have jumped 5 or 6 times, clears the water and all that stuff. You're supposed to bow to the fish, so you take the strain off that line. Because as long as the fish is in the water, it doesn't weigh as much. When it comes up out of the water, the weight of the fish, you've got all that stress on the line, so you have to give it a little slack. You don't want too much, but you bow to the fish. And she's right about that. In other words, that's one of the things. And then the other thing, and it happened to me years ago, when you get a fish close to the boat, you got to be careful with that rod tip. You got to keep it out horizontal to the water and keep the pressure on the fish. I made the mistake of angling the rod up like a what do you call it, a mortar, and that broke about that much of the tip of my rod off.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I made that mistake, and I didn't want Coco to make it.
Yeah, that would have been pretty embarrassing.
And she did. She did good.
No, you look like you've been doing it a while there, and I'm really impressed by the headgear you were working there. That was very.
Oh, well,
yeah,
couldn't you see in the video? Couldn't you see in the video all these little black specks flying around? Those were all bugs.
White socks, and.
So how
and
legit were the bugs up there?
I mean, I don't even know if you'll be able to still see. I had a bunch of bug bites. I didn't like complain about it though. I was okay because I had a great time. Yeah, no, all I asked for was I just wanted some cream because the itching was a little annoying. But besides that, I wanted to go out every day. It wasn't like it was stopping me. But yeah, they're a little nippy. I think next time though, I'll just have to put on like more bug spray or something.
Well, this is another thing, Coco, which I think you should relay the story, and if you leave anything out, I'll add to it. But our trip to Katmai with Uncle Jerry. You knew Uncle Jerry would make his mark, as he always does.
Yeah,
he
got
always
Uncle
does.
Jerry over the weekend here, and he did go into a lot of detail. Said he had a blast.
Go ahead, dude. Tell us how our trip to Katmai went with Uncle Jerry.
So we're going to Katmai to go see the bears at like Brooks Falls or that area because there's a bunch of bears there. Wild bears. Is not like a wild refuge or anything. And so we're going, and it's me, my dad, Jerry, two of the other guests. Two of the other guests.
The G4.
Yeah, Slim, and then a captain because we had to fly two planes down there. So Slim.
Yeah, there was two. I think they were both like 185 Cessnas, I think, on floats. But go ahead, Coco.
Yeah. So it was. So there was like 7 people or something like that. But anyway, so we're going down there and we're having a good time. Before we get there, we have to have what is it called? Like we have to have a training, like what are they called? Like somebody who teaches.
Inform you about the bears, the do's and don'ts when you encounter a bear.
Yeah.
And we
they have a name.
Well, we knew going in, Coco, but Slim had called ahead that the bears there weren't because the salmon hadn't started. That's what brings it all together. I think Slim told me the most bears he's ever heard of being down there on the falls at one time is 37 bears. Whoa. 37 bears, brown bears. So
That's
anyway,
insane.
yeah. And the other part of it was we had to land up above in Brooks Lake as opposed to Naknek, because the wind was so strong you couldn't land down on the lower river, so it changed our plans a little bit. We had to walk all the way down to Brooks Camp, but we did get our indoctrination speech when we landed up on Brooks Lake. So go ahead.
Yeah, so you get a lesson before you go there, and the person who was teaching it, she was saying, you can't have any snacks, no food, so you got to leave it at this cabin right here. You can't, and she was just going over all these details, like give this yield to the bears, can't have any food. They can smell like, they have a great sense of smell, so you can't have any food on the trail. So there's this one time where, we saw one bear going down. It wasn't like super close or anything, but we saw one, and me, my dad, and Jerry, and the pilot kind of fell behind. But the other people, the other guests, like Slim and all those people, they got pretty close to it. But still, anyways, we got to see a bear, and it was really cool. And then we're walking, and we see the snack shop. So we go into the snack shop to get a couple of snacks, and the snack shop, there's a lodge right next to it. And you're supposed to take your snacks and you can go eat it at the lodge. It's like a place where you can sit down, eat your snacks, because you're not allowed to have any snacks.
Indoors.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're not allowed to have it on the trail. Anyways, so basically what went down is we get our snacks. We're in the lodge. Jerry has to go to the bathroom. So he tells Slim, I have to go to the bathroom. Slim says, okay, it's right over there. Do you see it? Jerry says, yes. Slim says, okay, we're going to be at the lodge eating our snacks. And Jerry's like, okay. So then we finished eating our snacks, and we walk out, and we're all like, wait a minute, where's Jerry? We can't find Jerry. Jerry's been gone for like 5 minutes. Oh, yeah, I was like, what a small chance a bear just snagged little old Jerry or something. But we're checking. So we're checking the bathroom. We almost thought he went into the women's room. We checked the women's room. He wasn't in there. We told all the, again, I'm forgetting what they're called, but all like the people who work at the area. What are they? Rangers. Isn't there the
park ranger?
Yeah, the wildlife ranger. Yeah. So the rangers were telling him, all right, it's a man. He has gray hair, about 70-ish, gray pants, and even. Yes, and we were telling, I think Slim or something, other people, we were telling them, like, and he's not quite right in the mind, so you gotta find him. Something like that. He has a little.
Oh, Jerry.
So they're all on the search for him. We're looking for him. And then basically.
On their 2 ways, they're calling up to Brooks Lake to see if they found him, seen him up there. We're talking to one of the rangers. No, I ain't seen anybody that answers that description. Now, I cut in here only to say, I knew what the deal was. I did. I'm going, he does this all the time. Jerry just wanders off and does what Jerry wants to do. So I'm a little peeved.
Easily distracted, I've noticed.
Because he's getting Slim worked up. And I don't want to see Slim get worked up because, that ain't cool.
How you guys get back?
Slim would be turning into Kramer at any minute. So, I figure, but then all of a sudden I have to say this. I have this moment where I have this epiphany that Jerry's had an event someplace and he's down. So I'm going, you better get off Jerry's rear here because, it could be serious. So for a second there, he pulled me off of it and I'm going, well, maybe there is something that's nobody's seen him and he's disappeared. So, okay, go ahead, Coco.
Well, yeah, adding on to that, though, my dad originally wanted to leave Jerry. He wanted us to fly back and leave Jerry.
True.
Katmai.
After all these years?
Just one time.
Yes.
Everybody always goes soft on me and goes, nah, we can't leave him. I go, just this one time. Leave him this one time. It's true. Coco's right. I did say, leave Uncle Jerry.
Yeah. But so we, and this is also a side note, too. This will come up later in the story. But, go back to when we were walking out here, like when we were with Jerry and everything, when we were walking on the trail. So like flashback to when we were walking on the trail, Slim was giving us a lot of detailed facts about the trees and like he was giving us kind of a little tour. And so he was saying that the trees, the way they fall, they're always pointing west, right? Was it west?
Because of the wind.
Yeah. Yeah, because of the wind. They always point west. So trees, it was just like little details and like, but also, just in case, I don't know. Yeah, he was just giving us facts and details.
Of Alaskan lore.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. And so.
Knowledge.
Being a good lodge guide.
Right. Anyway, so fast forward. We're back where, where's Jerry? Jerry's lost. We're walking our way back because we're like, okay, we're just going to at least go to make our way back to the plains. And then a park ranger, he comes up and he's like, hey, yeah, I didn't quite hear the conversation. My dad probably knows better. But what I heard is that, hey, yeah, we found Jerry. He said that Slim was wrong. The trees are pointing north or something. He said something like the trees didn't
guide. And only you can
Jerry
Todd, because you know who we're talking about.
Hey, think about it.
Yeah, think about it.
Hey, Slim, I'd like to call BS on your earlier declaration.
I've been here all of 20 minutes, and those trees ain't pointing west, pointing north.
Yeah. The whole point, though, of that, too, was that Jerry, he was actually waiting for us at the plains because the whole thing, as to quote Slim, because he said this later, we have a failure to communicate. Slim, when he said, what we have here is a failure to communicate, when Slim said we're going to eat at the lodge, Jerry thought he meant the Kwijak Lodge. So he,
okay.
Yes, his lodge. So he made us all the way back, all alone. Oh man.
Slim gave Jerry an easy out because he's soft on Jerry.
Yeah.
I know damn good and well
Yeah.
Jerry just did what he's going, well, I don't know. I think I'll go back to plane. Ain't worried about looking for anybody.
Jerry's brilliant, easily distracted.
And of course, when he gets back to the plane, what's he do? He pulls out, what do you have, a soda? What do he have? He had something.
He had some sort of snack.
Yeah, he walks
Some
all
sort
the
of
way back
snack. He
along
walks-
the air trail with food. Hey,
I think I know what that snack might have been, but that's another story for another day.
But I know when we got there, he started into it, and I'm going,
Was it like? Yeah, I just waiting for like that in that commercial, and Bigfoot comes up there and he's hanging out with eating beef
that would have been
jerky.
the only thing. That would have been it. Him and the bear sharing it.
That's right.
It was that,
And-
Mr. Chocolate, Mr. Chocolate. Hey, Jerry, who you got? Oh, this is Mr. Chocolate. Mr. Chocolate, come here.
Here's my boy.
Yeah. The new.
Oh, and another thing to add is that later on, we're all laughing about this at the lodge and we're talking about it. One of the guests there, one of my dad's college buddies, they played college football together. We call him Eddie Haskell. That's his nickname. But so basically,
He is Eddie Haskell.
But so basically, one of my dad's college buddies, and he has this just his sense of humor is I told my dad that like he was just amazing. I mean, I loved everybody, but especially him and Slim, like all of them, everybody. I mean, I can't say I favorited anybody, but he was really funny. And there was one good joke that he had where we're talking about it, and he's like, I think we should have a sign that we put on Jerry, and it says, "Hi, my name is Jerry. I'm lost. If you find me, call this number." And that was so.
In fact, I think
It
I'm going
was
to have
so
a t-shirt made up. I'm not sure what number I'm
Part
going to
of
put on.
Jerry's crew, and everybody has the same color shirt.
Yeah, maybe. I'm going to get him a T-shirt like that, but I ain't putting my number on it.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff.
It was really a fun trip. And then, like I said, then Coco, who's basically turned into a jet setter, along with her sister, as I said, who I might add is in Cabo as we speak. It's like Ma and Pa are just at home, just toughing it out.
I don't know, the Hiltons, the Kardashians, and the Riggins
They got
girls.
nothing on the dude, I can tell you that.
So we're going to fish in Montauk?
Well, when I get up there,
Oh,
I
yeah.
probably will. Because I will go up here before too long. The chaperone's finally run out, and Pops is going to have to come in. Part of the reason I was really pleased that Coco was able to go with it to Alaska is she's on her own up there in Montauk, and I figured I would throw her in with what I consider the mule skinners that I know. So I figured once she hang out with them, it's like she ain't going to go to Montauk, and she'll just basically go, "Hey, punk, is that all you got?"
Listen,
Come on.
I've no Slim, Uncle Jerry.
Wait, come on. You thought that was you laid down a field of blue fire there? Ah, come on. I got that. I got
Right.
so guys like you know where. Yeah, it was a great trip, and we're glad we're back. I miss Coco.
Oh yeah. Yeah, memories I'll cherish
good.
forever. I really loved it.
All right, dude. On behalf of you and Todd, it's Riggo